Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Friday, the 20th of September 2024. We start off today's Millwall news with this from the northernecho.co.uk, which is a paper from the northeast of England, if you didn't know. And obviously, pre-match stuff, interviews and whatnot. And someone asked Michael Carrick, the manager of Middlesbrough FC, what's happening with Coburn then? Is he coming back? Well, no. Josh Coburn plan after Middlesbrough striker's Mill injury blow. Josh Coburn will stay with Millwall for treatment after the Middlesbrough striker was ruled out for up to 2 months with a calf injury this week. Borough head coach Michael Carrick was frustrated for the young striker, who had enjoyed a perfect start to life at the Lions when he scored an impressive debut in a win over Sheffield Wednesday before the international break. But that delight turned to disappointment when Coburn was forced off against Luton last weekend, with Neil Harris since confirming the 21-year-old faces a relatively lengthy layoff. Well, he had a terrific start, and hopefully he'll get back on the pitch, as quick as he can, said Borough boss Carrick. It was certainly for him and for us, it's a bit of a blow, but, the game throws up these type of things, and ups and downs, and little setbacks. But he'll be alright, and we'll deal with it. He's got to get down on his shoulders, and we'll get back to him on the pitch as quick as we can. Borough will support Coburn through his spell on the sidelines, but Carrick believes it's best that the striker stays in the capital with his parent club. Stays in the capital with his loan club during the coming weeks rather than returning to Teesside. He said, he's staying down there, we're certainly here to support him from our side of things, but I think that's good for him to be there and immerse himself in it, and hopefully he'll be back pretty quick. So there you go. Now, moving on to this, from the southernnews.co.uk, Mill defender labels new season frustrating. Mill defender Shaun Hutchinson said the new season has been a frustrating one so far. The Lions have picked up 4 points in their first 5 games and currently sit in 18th position in the championship table. Well, it's frustrating, Hutchinson said, in terms of the performances, there have been lots of good things. Pretty much every game there's been spells, where we've defended well or attacked pretty well. And we've certainly created more chances this season than I've known a Millwall team to do for a while. And I think a lot of teams probably feel that way, but I feel like we should definitely have more points on the board. Hutchinson had a difficult summer. The club released the defender before giving him a 1-year contract extension in mid-July. The departure of Steve Kavanagh as Mill's CEO in May meant several players were left in limbo regarding contract renewals. Well, the way the off-season went, with me coming in the door quite late, it obviously wasn't ideal, Hutchinson said. But, footballers have always got a point to prove, whether you're 23 or 33 years old. I still want to prove that I can play in this level and I can play in a team, With centre-back Jay Cooper out indefinitely. He's not out indefinitely, he might be involved in tomorrow's game. Do you know what indefinitely means? It means, for an unspecified amount of time. Hutchinson will likely start at the weekend against QPR. The 33-year-old began Mill's championship campaign at the back, but lost his starting position once Jafet Tanganga's transfer was confirmed. It's unfortunate about Jake, It's not looking like he's going to be anything too serious, which is good because, he was a massive player for us. Whenever I am called upon, I'm just going to have to give my best, like I always do. There you go. An article with quite a few errors in it. Now, moving on to this. Also from the Southern News. Mill boss gutted with recent losses but feels team deserves more. Neil Harris said he was gutted with his side's recent losses in the Championship. The Lions manager felt his team deserved more from defeats against Bristol City, Watford and Luton, but demanded that his team pick up more points in the coming games. Oh yeah, I'm frustrated, of course. I'm gutted with 3 narrow defeats in 3 games. We didn't deserve to lose. Ultimately, it was the substitutes who made a difference and won the game for Watford and Bristol City. Speaking on the Luton game, Harris said, we could have done better to defend the goal, and then we weren't clinical at the other end when the opportunities rose. I've got no issue with losing the game against a good side like Luton, who have come out of the Premier League, but it's previous games that hurt. Harris remained positive in his outlook going forward. or it's frustrating, but if you flip it the other way, we battered Sheffield Wednesday and we deserved to win by at least 3 goals. We were better than Hull and deserved more than a point, and we've arguably deserved a point, if not more, from the first 3 games we lost. That's the positive side of it. The reality is we haven't picked up as many points as we'd like. I don't mind to the fact that we played really well. I want to win games, especially at home. And that's my demand and expectation from the group. And we can be really positive, with an air of frustration in the results, but they've gone, and it's about the next one. Mill's manager was looking forward to Saturday's game against QPR, highlighting it as an opportunity to put things right after a difficult start to the campaign. I want to go to QPR and win at the weekend. I expect the team to put in a solid display, but also have creativity at the other end of the pitch. What a brilliant occasion, a London derby at Loftus Road, a packed out away end that gets right behind their team, bring it on. Indeed. So Neil Harris not scared at all, and I would say, before the start of the season, and even now, that this would be one of our, more winnable games, really, because they don't have a big budget either. So, should be a game that we, there should be points on the board in this game. It's not an automatic defeat. And we have this from southwarknews.co.uk again, with Neil Harris talking about the QPR game. So Harris recalls brilliant games from down the years, but insists his team need balance. Neil Harris spoke admiringly of Mill's encounters with QPR from down the years, describing them as brilliant games. Pardon me. However, the Mill boss insisted his team will need balance and reliability to turn their season around. They were aggressive games. They were always tough, aggressive encounters, Harris said. The tempo's always high, they can be games which are won or lost by mistakes, as well as the moments of real quality. Harris complimented his side's performances so far, but also recognised more consistency was needed if the season was to be successful. We have, more spells in games, played with real quality in games and shown good moments of football and creativity. And that's what we need. We need that reliability. One second. Sorry about that. I've just had a couple of bags of Monster Munch, roast beef Monster Munch, and it's done a number on my throat, made it really dry for some reason. We've been able to get 2 clean sheets. We show quality for the majority of the game against Luton. We need that reliability as well, and that's the balance that's needed in this one. Harris also spoke about picking individuals for a match of this magnitude. The Millwall manager said selecting the right players and communicating the right message to his playing staff was important ahead of a London derby game. Sending the right message for me, is when our man manages younger players that are coming in or starting the game, and ultimately, we've got to make some changes to the team, so that's down to me to choose the personnel that goes in for a game on an occasion, whether that's a youngster or an experienced player. What makes my job easier, is sometimes that they play for Millwall Football Club, and every outing at the Den is an aggressive game of football with an expectation on your shoulders. So when you go into a London derby or, Ellen Road, for example, you should be ready for the occasion. So there you go. So interestingly, he's saying this might not be a game for younger players. So could we see Romain Esse drop to the bench? Maybe coming off of the bench? Maybe, that might be a way to go. Obviously, you don't want him to get bullied on the pitch, and for them to keep counter-attacking. If that's the thing that could be happening, you do have to manage the players. So we will see. So interesting. So there might be some changes in the starting 11. Interesting to see what they might be. So now, talking about the QPR game. This is from millfc.co.uk. Overseas match passes available for QPR versus Millwall. Overseas Lions fans can stream this Saturday's game at Queen's Park Rangers. Kick off at 12:30 for £10. Neil Harris's team head for West London this weekend with a match pass bringing you multiple angles of action live, including replays with full match commentary. Check out our streaming passes below, including annual live video subscriptions for international fans, audio passes for UK-based sports, and subscriptions to Millwall TV Plus, the home of Millwall video content. So, yeah, it's obviously this. If you're international, you can, I believe, you can buy a match pass for £10 because, according to this website, livesoccertv.com, it isn't one of the games that's been selected for international broadcast. So it is on Sky Sports Plus in the UK and in the Republic of Ireland, but international, it's not on the channels that they have a separate deal. Some of the games that get selected by Sky are shown internationally, but this isn't one of them. But it could be available on Bet365 if you have an account with them and can access it in the country that you're in. But otherwise, you should be able to get it on Millwall TV by paying the £10. So, now, this is interesting. I don't normally bring this because it's not really that important, to be honest with you. But one of the reasons why I'm showing it today, obviously yesterday we had the Callum Scanlon situation. What's happening with him? What's the problem? He put out a post on Instagram saying he was injured. He did not say he was injured. He did not say he was injured. He said he was going to be missing for 4 months, which takes him to the January transfer window. He said he was going to have to improve and better himself as an athlete, and that he wished Millwall good luck for the rest of the year. Okay, that's kind of weird, but that got deleted. What also got deleted was a post that the Southern News posted seemingly on their website, with the address bar is still there, but the story is gone. It's page not found, and the reason we know about this because a Liverpool fan blog saw this and wrote a story out of it saying that Neil Harris, according to the Southern News, said that he fancies Callum Scanlon to play further up the pitch, maybe as an outside left, in the kind of role that Duncan Watmore plays, or maybe on the left wing of a 4. And that was picked up by the Liverpool fan side saying, well, he's kind of gone, he's like learning to be a left back. And now they're saying they're not going to play him at left back. So what's happened here? Have Liverpool said, no, we want him to play left back. We're literally training him up to be a left back. If you're not going to play him left back, we're going to cancel the deal. Maybe that's what's happening. Now, we have to see. So, obviously, the reason why this is important is, do they mention that Scanlon's injured here or not? So, let's have a read of this. What do you think? Have a little guess. What do you think? So, Mill travel to Queen's Park Rangers and Sky Bet Championship on Saturday afternoon, kick-off 12:30 p.m. British summertime. The Lions are back in action and head for Loftus Road in search of further success on the road in 24-25. Yeah, I haven't won an away game yet. Or technically, if you count the Portsmouth Carabao Cup game. Billy Mitchell, Adam Mayer, Tom Bradshaw and Josh Coburn will all sit out the trip west. No mention of Scanlon. Whilst the fitness of Jake Cooper and Mihajlo Ivanovic will be tested in the lead up to kickoff. Again, this is what I said where they said before that Jake Cooper will be out indefinitely. No, there's a chance that he might be involved in this game because the guy's a fucking warrior. He had a dislocated shoulder and he said, yeah, fuck that, I want to play anyway. And it came out again. He said, yeah, I'm alright, I want to play. Macaulay Langstaff will hope to start an attack in Coburn's absence, with club captain Shaun Hutchinson potentially deputising at the back should Cooper not make it into the squad. The Lions' paltry allocation for this fixture is sold out. with no further tickets available for sale. If you're not able to make it into the away end, however, listen to full match commentary on Millwall TV if you're in the UK, or if you're an international subscriber, purchase a match pass, etc, etc, etc. So no mention of Scanlon. No mention at all. So what's happening here then? Is he injured? He's not injured. Some toys got thrown out of the pram. He's homesick. He doesn't like it in Millwall, which is fair enough. If you don't like it, you don't have to be here. Let's just, as long as we don't lose out, we cancel the deal. It's kind of shitty for us because he came in as a backup left back, and now we don't have a backup left back until January, unless we go out and sign someone as a free agent. So yeah, it's kind of annoying for Millwall, but obviously you can't force someone to be work somewhere where they don't want to work. This is a job after all. So we'll wait to see. Maybe he will be included in the squad tomorrow. Maybe they patch things up. Maybe that's why he deleted the post. Because the post didn't say he was injured. Post just said he was going to be out for 4 months. And again, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, how do you injure yourself and you immediately know you're going to be out for 4 months? Literally every player we've had injured recently, they get injured and Neil Harris gets asked, oh, how bad is the injury? Or even going back to Gary Rowett and said, oh, we don't know yet, we have to send him for a scan. And then once the scan's made, and oh, we know he's going to be out for like 8 weeks or 62 days. They can be so accurate. So the fact that he's immediately got injured and then immediately knows he's going to be out for 4 months, and he doesn't mention in the post that he's injured, but then the post gets deleted after about, maybe, I guess, 500 people have seen it. It's all very weird. It's all very weird, and it would be even weirder if he starts tomorrow instead of Scanlon. Indeed. I do wonder, obviously there was an under-21s game away at Birmingham. I think he's from Birmingham. I'm not sure where he lives, but so maybe they asked him to play in that to get some match fitness in, and he told them to fuck off. I don't know, but we wait to see. Obviously, it's all very weird. It's all very weird. Very dramatic this year at Mill, wasn't it? It would make a great soap opera, everything that's going on underground. Now, moving on to the actual preview. We're going to start by looking at the history of Millwall's trips to Queen's Park Rangers in the first game in 1900 while Queen Victoria was still on the throne. Yes, indeed, a trip in the FA Cup that we won 2-0. But not shortly after that, 22 years later, in February, we lost 6-1. Oh my god. But you can see in the first half of the 20th century, we actually did quite well there, really. There's obviously the odd defeat, which is quite a heavy defeat, 6-1, 3-0. But we win 3-2. There's a couple of draws, a 1-0 win 1927. And then a run of 5 wins just before World War II and just after. 54, again we lose 4-0. So there's big defeats there. So when we lose, we have the capability to lose heavily. Again, 1956, 7th of April, 4-0 defeat. That's not good. 0-0 draw, 1956. 23rd of September, which obviously quite close to the date that it's going to be tomorrow, the 21st, in 1957, a 3-0 defeat. And then after the run of 5 wins in a row, we go to a run of 5 defeats in a row after the one of 5 wins in a row. From 1963, obviously at this time they've got players like Stan Bowles, Rodney Marsh, etc. They're like a really good team, even though they're in Division 3 and in Division 2. They get kind of like Chelsea's cast-offs, because Chelsea are quite a good team. They all decide to go to like Fulham and Queen's Park Rangers. Terry Venables is probably involved around this time as well. I don't exactly know where he was at the time, but you can see we're losing heavily, like 2-0, 6-1, 3-1, 3-2, 2-0 into 1971. And we don't win again until 1972. It was a 3-1 win. And since 1989, which obviously we were in the higher division. That was in the top division. We beat them 2-1. We were doing quite well in those times, obviously. And then after that, a draw, 0-0 draw. We have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games in a row without a win. A few draws there, but we haven't won in 11 games. And then we do win, 11th of February 2023, a 2-1 win. Hey ho, fortunes have changed. Then the season after, 20th of January 2024, back at it, 2-0 defeat. So I would imagine, going by this history, that the win we had last season was probably just a punctuation, and that normal service has been resumed, and that this is a game that we might probably lose or draw. So if we do get a draw, it's going to be actually a pretty decent result. And if we lose heavily, it wouldn't be unsuspecting and unsurprising, because we have some heavy defeats up at Queen's Park Rangers, including a couple of 6-1s. I think our record defeat is something like 9-1, is it not? Or was that our record win? Yeah, so 6-1 is not a good result at all. Not a good result. And we've had 2 of them against Queen's Park Rangers. Hopefully we don't have another one tomorrow. So, let's move on to this, which is from whoscored.com. And here we go. I've sorted it. It's just the last 6 games now. We're not going all the way back to the next century. So you can see, the last 6 games, we've won 1, we drawn 1, we lost 4. They've scored 13 goals, we've scored 8. 9 yellow cards for us, 6 for them. Okay. So, as we go down, so the early tables, it's only been 5 games. I don't know why everyone's panicking and everyone's a bit moody. I imagine it's because of all the injuries and the shit results. But so you can see, they've only won 1 game. They've only lost 1 game. They've drawn a lot of games, 3 games, which is a lot when you've only played 5. But we've lost 3 games, which is a lot when you've only played 5. So we're losing a lot of games. That's not good. But we've scored 1 more goal than them. And we've conceded the same amount of goals as them. We've got 8 and 8. And they've got 7 and 8. So they've got negative goal difference. And they are 2 points ahead of us, but 6 places in the table. And as you can see, their form is pretty good. They lost on the opening day. They are unbeaten in 4 games. Okay. And if we go down here, I've sorted it so it's QPR's home games so far this season and Millwall's away games. And we have kept 2 away clean sheets, although we have conceded 4 against Bristol City. Kept a clean sheet against Bristol, against Portsmouth, but again that was in the Cup. And we kept a clean sheet at Hull, which is a pretty decent performance. We didn't really give them a sniff, to be honest. That again was a 12:30 kickoff, annoyingly so. I've noticed a lot of channels, the Millwall channels, but others are doing the previews on a Thursday now, because putting it out on a Friday night is like, it's fucking everyone's shit up, because like literally we've got like, you haven't got time to digest anything. You wake up, you shower, shit and shave, and then you're out the door going to the game. You know, it's really fucking annoying, because they told us when this deal was struck that the games were going to be on Friday nights, sometimes a Thursday night, you know, Saturday evening, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, Sunday evening, Monday evening. And so far, all the Championship games, nearly like 90% of them, Saturday 12:30, Saturday 12:30, Saturday 12:30. It's fucking ridiculous. Absolute fucking joke what they're doing to us. Absolute joke. The Championship is literally turning into like Premiership 2, and they're just butchering it by putting all the games at 12:30. Like, why don't they double it up by having it around the Premier League on a Sunday? It literally makes no sense. But hey ho, what can you do? Let's get back to this. Like QPR, as you can see, every game at Loftus Road so far this season, both teams have scored. They haven't kept a clean sheet, and they've always scored at least one goal. In fact, they've only scored one goal in each game. 1-3 defeat to West Bromwich Albion, 1-1 draw against Plymouth, a 1-1 draw against Luton, which they in the cup, so they won that on penalties. And they played on Tuesday. They played this week. They played at home to Crystal Palace, and they lost 2-1. So every game this season, they have scored one goal at home, one goal. But they've only got 2 draws, so they haven't won a home game. We haven't won an away game. Hey ho, what's gonna happen here? Something's gonna have to break unless it's a draw. As you can see here, strengths and weaknesses. Both teams pretty heavy on those. We've got a bit more style to us. Match forecast. Millwall will come out if they go behind. Very likely. Well, I do hope so. Match facts up here on the right. Queen's Park Rangers have seen under 2.5 goals in 5 of their last 6 matches against Millwall in all competitions. And Queen's Park Rangers are undefeated in 10 of their last 11 home matches against Millwall in all competitions. Yeah, we just spoke about that. So again, is it time for a Millwall win? Well, we did win 2 seasons ago, but damn. So 10 of 11. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. I doubt it's going to help that they gave us less tickets this year. Absolute joke, the amount of tickets they've given us. It's like an absolute bum fight to try and get tickets for this game, the most highly sought after game, and we don't get any tickets. Now, let's get into the predictions and let's wrap this up. So again here, from this preview site, no Scanlon. They're not mentioning Scanlon being injured. So what's going on there then? Again, what's going on there? Prediction from whoscored.com. Alfie Lloyd poked home following a chaotic goalmouth scramble last weekend as QPR scored in stoppage time to rescue a point away from home against Sheffield Wednesday. Marty Cervantes' side are now unbeaten in 4 league games, although 3 of those results have been stalemates, as in draws. Millwall were unable to produce a response to Teden Mengi's long-range strike last time out, as they suffered a narrow 1-0 home defeat against a slow-starting Luton side. Neil Harris's men are still searching for their first away win of the season ahead of Saturday's London derby. And as we just heard, QPR are searching for their first home win of the season. I guess you could say technically they won the Carabao Cup game that they played at home, but that was a penalty goal kick, penalty shootout. And they predict QPR 1, Millwall 0. QPR 1, Millwall 0. So there you go. Now moving on to this and finishing with this, it's the preview and prediction from sportsmole.co.uk. I'm using them this season instead of Sky. Sky have decided not to publish it because they assume people can't read. So, with just 2 victories between them in 24-25 Championship campaigns, Queen's Park Rangers and Millwall lock horns in a Saturday lunchtime encounter at the Kian Prince Foundation Stadium. Again, that is true. We have only won 1 game, they have only won 1 game, as we've just saw by looking at the table. Marty Cervantes' side are reeling from an EFL Cup exit to Crystal Palace in the week, while the visitors were bested 1-0 by Luton Town at the weekend. A morale-boosting 6-game unbeaten sequence for QPR was snapped on Tuesday night when Cervantes' men sought to pull off an upset of Premier League Palace in the 3rd round of the EFL Cup, but fell victim to the Ebriche Eze show. Either side of a lever from Sam Field, Eze teed up former Arsenal striker Eddie Nketiah before going from provider to goal scorer in the second half, ending both QPR's faint hopes of EFL Cup glory and a streak without defeat that's lasted for almost a month. Cervantes had masterminded 3 wins and 3 draws across all competitions before his side's midweek reverse, but the hosts still have a 4-game championship unbeaten run intact, most recently drawing 1-1 with Sheffield Wednesday in a tale of 2 added time goals. Yet both of those goals in that game were scored in injury time, 1 in 93 minutes, 1 in 96 minutes. What an insane game. And shame on anyone who left early in that game because they missed the only 2 goals in that game. With 6 points to show from 5 matches in 24-25, QPR are residing right in the middle of the standings in 12th place and have been consistent at both ends of the pitch, being the only Championship team who score and concede in every league game so far this term. Indeed, we just showed that by looking at their results at home. So I guess they've done that as well. So they've scored. Obviously, I'm just looking at home games because we're playing them at their home. But apparently away, they haven't failed to score and they haven't kept a clean sheet. So hopefully Langstaff might get on the score sheet tomorrow. Quickly establishing themselves as the Championship comeback kings, Juventus side have taken 5 of their 6 points from losing positions this term, more than in every side in the division, having had to fight back from a goal down for their only win to date over Luton Town. Absent from EFL Cup duty in midweek on account of their shock 1-0 home defeat to Leyton Orient in the second round, Millwall returned to Championship duty last week, hoping to kick on after a 3-0 demolition of Sheffield Wednesday just before the international break. However, the 2-week hiatus certainly came at the worst possible time for Neo Harris's men, who conceded a 10th minute goal to Luton Town's Teden Mengi and failed to respond in the 80 that were left, not helped by a couple of early injuries. While congratulating their opponents on the win, Harris refused to label Luton the better team on a day, insisting that his side showed the application and desire to take all 3 points, only to be let down by their final product in key moments. The Lions are languishing in an unspectacular 18th place owing to their mediocre start, although they are the highest of the 4-point teams thanks to goal difference of 0, and their 8 strikes at the correct end of the pitch is the best record in the bottom half of the division. Indeed. Home was where the heart was in both fixtures between QPR and Millwall last season, as each side beat the other 2-0 in front of their own supporters, but the Lions come up trumps 2-1 at Loftus Road in February 2023, their only win from the last 12 trips to the Hoops' headquarters. Indeed, this is very well written. This is very, very well written. I wonder if it was written by AI, but it's very well written by Ben Napton, senior reporter there. Very well written. So, team news. Despite having to come off at the break in last weekend's draw with Sheffield Wednesday due to feeling dizzy, QPR man Field was fit enough to start, score and compete the full 90 minutes in a cup loss to Crystal Palace. Feeling dizzy? Oh, okay. Ilias Cherry and Morgan Fox are still missing though. The former is suffering from a back issue, while left-back Fox is struggling with an unspecified niggle. Interesting. I wonder if he's got what Callum Scanlon's got. And it also remains to be seen if Jake Clark, Salter and Liam Morrison will return for Saturday's fixture. Cervantes' men put up a brilliant fight against Palace, but the hosting manager should not shy away from a few changes for the weekend, one of which should see 2 assist winger Karamoko Dembele recalled to the side. Millwall were not so fortunate on the injury front in their last match, as Josh Coburn only lasted until the 34th minute of the defeat to QPR before captain Jay Cooper had to be taken off at the half-time interval. Harris quickly delivered the bad news that Coburn's calf injury would sideline him for at least 6 and potentially up to 8 weeks, while Cooper will need a late fitness test alongside Mihajlo Ivanovic. Billy Mitchell, Adam Mayer and Tom Bradshaw welcome Coburn into the Millwall medical bay, and the forward's absence opens the door for Macaulay Langstaff, still waiting for his maiden Lions goal to make his first Championship start of the season. So, again, no mention of Scanlon injury there. We say Queen's Park Rangers 2, Millwall 2. Goals at both ends of the pitch are usually a guarantee when QPR are in action. The Millwall side, more prolific than any bottom half team, can capitalise on any weary Hoops legs from their EFL Cup exploits. Cervantes' side have often risen up in the face of adversity this season though, and we can see their unbeaten streak and affinity for draws extending in a high scoring stalemate. Okay. Who will win Saturday's Championship clash? And you can see most of the fans think it's going to be Queen's Park Rangers. Very few of them going with Millwall, only 8%. So again, we've got one prediction going for QPR, a narrow win. One going for a 2-2 draw. What can you say? We've got so many injuries. I mean, this whole week has just been an absolute downer. For some reason, I don't know if it's just because we lost last week, but the whole week has been a bit shit, really, isn't it? But again, I don't. We heard previously. I just showed you about Nero House mentioned about maybe dropping the youngsters for this game because we need some grit. We need some fight. We need a bit of battle, and they might have to start with a more attritional team. So that would be interesting to see. Obviously, how do we start? And obviously, we know we've just read that QPR are good at coming back. So if we do take the lead, and we try to defend and defend and defend, that ain't gonna work. I don't think that's gonna work. So I think what we might have to do is keep it tight. Maybe try and keep the first clean sheet of the season at Queen's Park Rangers that any team's had, and maybe just try and nick a goal, which is not ideal. But we have to wait and see. What team gets selected, and who plays, and how it all pans out. It's going to be very interesting to see how that does work. But just going by off what we do know, what we think is going to happen, I'm not sure what might happen. I'm going to have to say Queen's Park Rangers 2, Millwall 1. I think both teams will score, and I think it's going to be 1-1, and we're going to try and defend it. We'll probably bring the extra defender on, whether that's Hutchinson or Cooper, whoever's on the bench, McNamara. And it's just going to blow up in our face like it always does, because it doesn't really work, especially against a team that's really fucking good at scoring late goals. So, whereas what you should be doing in that situation is bringing on maybe a Maku or a Ziz to just play up as the lone striker and just bomb balls over the top for them to run onto, to give the other team, something to worry about. But yeah, I think it's going to be 2-1 to Queen's Park Rangers. So obviously I hope I'm proved wrong, but I don't know. This whole week has been really depressing. Not personally, just fucking as a Millwall fan, I don't know. But there you go. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.